Hey everybody, welcome in. James Phillips here. This is the DME PrepZone wrap-up show presented by Bevill State Community College. This week, my guest, I'm joined by Brett Elmore, General Manager of Oldies 101.5. Brett, thanks for coming in.
Pleasure to be here, and week number 2 in the books, and we're starting to get a little clearer picture before region play begins of what we have here in the Walman area.
Yeah, I think so. You know, we had several blowouts, but we had a few close games too.
Yeah. I think one of the closest games, Meek, Winston County, was probably the most interesting, but we'll talk about that as we go move on.
That's right. Let's first talk about our game of the week. We had Cordova hosting Carbon Hill. Everybody thought that would be a close game coming into it because Carbon Hill has scored 66 the week before.
Yeah, and it just shows that Cordova is vastly improved.
Right.
Cody Hedrick, 4 total touchdowns in the ball game, 3 passing, 1 rushing. Coach Shane Smothers has got it going on down there. But Carbon Hill, I still think is very improved, but something happened. I don't know. But Cordova, they've got it going.
Right. I was at that game broadcasting for 88.5 and the Eagle game of the week, and it was 47-8, and it could have been worse than that. Cordova kind of called let's not say dogs, called the Devils off. And I'll tell you one thing I noticed about Carbon Hill, they were really one-dimensional. They just stayed with that run, trying to run it up the middle and just a little bit off tackle, never really got outside, and they didn't attempt but maybe 4 or 5 passes in the game.
Well, that's going to get you any time. I mean, you know it. We've seen it before. One-dimensional teams, it's just going to catch up with you. It's going to be difficult as Carbon Hill goes to Susan Moore to start region play. But Cordova, on the flip side of things, this week against second-ranked Pleasant Grove, coming into town for a Thursday night game. If you're looking for a game to go to this week on a Thursday night, that will be the one to go to. But the true test for Cordova, the true measuring stick will be this Thursday night.
Oh, definitely so. And Pleasant Grove, I talked to Coach Smothers after the game, and he said it's either play Pleasant Grove or play Alabama. And that's where he ranked Pleasant Grove. He said that they both. He feels like the last 2 years they were the best team in that classification, and they just couldn't get it done at the end.
And Pleasant Grove beat Oxford Friday night, 61-24, and we know what kind of program Oxford always has.
That's right. Yeah, I noticed that score, and I thought, ooh, that's not good for that's not good for Cordova. But the good thing is, Smothers said they're going to play hard. They're not going to back down. You know, they know it's a challenge, but you got to get out there and you got to play.
No, you can't do that. And we talked to him on our scoreboard show after the game on Oldies 101.5, but he said, we're going to get to work Monday. I think he slipped up. He said, we're going to get to work Monday on Pleasant Grove. I thought, no, you probably need to wait about an hour to get to work.
Right,
Pleasant Grove's coming to town. The Spartans are going to be ready to play.
Right, that's true. Now, I'll tell you one thing. They moved it to a Thursday. Did you hear why?
No.
It was a lack of officials in our local area.
Oh, wow.
And so they even had that problem during the game at Cordova the other night. The 2 officials in the press box were from local area. All the officials on the ground, they had to hire in from a different association.
Well, when you're talking about, we're still living in the COVID era, and you're going to find problems like that, not only with teams, but with officials. It goes from top to bottom.
Right, that's right. Hey, let's move on now. Addison, 28-0 over Lynn. That's kind of where we expected it to be, I think.
I think so. Christian Roberts, 3 of 5 passing, 32 yards, 13 rushes, 87 yards, a rushing touchdown, 119 all-purpose yards. But the thing is, they had that big win over Haleyville a week ago, which is a 4A squad. They turn around and they win Friday night. They're 2-0. It's same typical Addison, but a big game coming up Friday with Aliceville, who, by the way, only lost by 9 points to number 1 ranked Gordo.
I saw that
on Friday. So 36-34 was the score last year. Addison dropped that game on the road, but this time it's in Addison, and that should be a great ball game.
And guess what? That's our game of the week.
That's right. That's right.
And I think if it's anything like last year's game, that's a great pick for game of the week.
Absolutely. I don't think you could pick a better game. Addison and Aliceville, this should be a great one on Friday night.
And how many years has the Roberts kid played at Addison? It feels like he's been playing since he was in the 5th grade.
I think he's an 8th-year senior.
Right. All right, how about corner and Mortimer Jordan? Mortimer Jordan put it on corner 45-12. You know, we don't really know what to expect from corner. They've got a game coming up this week against St. Clair County that was really close last year, but I feel like the Yellow Jackets have lost a lot from last season.
Yeah, they have. And Mortimer Jordan, of course, Dusty Good, a familiar name here for the folks in Walker County, coached at Dora. He's done a great job at Mortimer Jordan, and it seems like they struggled last year.
They did.
And it seems like he's got that program turned back around.
And that's a program that Jasper will have to be looking to later in the season.
Right, that's a region opponent for the Vikings.
All right, how about we go now to Meek and Winston County? You brought that up earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Winston County wins 28-22 in overtime.
Yeah, and I talked with both Coach Mitchell and Coach Powell. Coach Powell at Meek has really got things on the up there in Arley. I didn't realize this until we talked to him on a scoreboard show, but they dealt with COVID issues through the week. They had a bunch of their players. Of course, they're, 1A?
Right, so they don't have a lot of players.
Right. They don't have a lot to give, but a lot of their players were in quarantine until Thursday, not making excuses for them. Still gave Winston County a great game. Talked with Coach Mitchell at Winston County. He was just glad to get out of there with a victory. But for Meek, David Tidwell, 13 of 18 passing. Can't get much better than that. 196 yards. Jarrett Benson, 3 catches, 132 yards and a receiving touchdown. And for Winston County, the Morgan kid, 4 of 11 passing, 89 yards, a passing touchdown, 155 yards on the ground. On 24 carries with 3 rushing touchdowns. So that puts him at nearly 250 all-purpose yards.
And such a dual threat for
Yeah.
Winston County, where we've been used to them handing the ball off because they had the Owens kid.
Yeah.
And now it looks like the quarterback's going to step up and be their playmaker.
We were talking about being one-dimensional, and that's what caught up with Winston County last year. They depended on, their strong running game so much, but that caught up with them at the end. But for Winston County, they got to go to Hatton this week and to start region play. Meek has Brilliant, a game that they should win.
Well, it's a game they lost last year.
Yeah, it is.
And lost pretty handedly.
Right, but Brilliant, I think, lost a lot of players off that team.
I think so.
That was so
because
successful
that was a
last year.
rare Brilliant team that was good.
Right,
Because
yeah.
usually they are not very good.
Right, so we'll see what happens with Meek, but I think Meek's one of those teams we're going to have to watch throughout the season because Coach Powell has them really, I think, on the upswing.
Yeah, I think he's came in and really changed their weight program. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. He's just done a really good job. He was an assistant at Dora under Bart Lockhart, so I think he's really learned. He's a young guy, so he's got a lot of energy.
Right.
And that's what they needed at Meek.
That's exactly what they needed at Meek. Someone with some energy, someone young, and someone to turn around the culture there at Meek, and I think he's done that.
Right. All right, next we got a blowout. Sumter Christian at home, 46-0 over Cherokee, and it was 46-0 at halftime.
This could have been 100-0, I'm afraid. And then luckily, Sumter Christian kind of called off the Dogs. But another team that we're going to have to watch as the season progresses, because Summerton is one of those teams that they've got it going on too. Jordan Robertson, 2 carries, 78 yards, a touchdown. Eli Moon has been a great player for them for a couple of seasons. 72 all-purpose yards, a couple of touchdowns. Ashton McClendon, 2 interceptions on defense, returned one of those for a touchdown. So now they go into a bye week with that win, and they can kind of regroup before region play.
Right, and in region play they'll start with Cedar Bluff, who is always a very good team.
Powerhouse.
And I'll go ahead and announce it. Cedar Bluff and Sumter Christian will be our game of the week for that week.
That'll be a good one.
All right, let's go on now. By the way, I'm on DMEPrepZone.com.
Right.
So anybody on Friday nights, that's our live scoring. We always talk about it on the radio too. Tell people to go there.
That's where I go to.
That's where
I go to
that's where
get
you
my
go
scores.
to get the scores.
PrepZone Wrap-Up is presented by Bevill State Community College and Kilgore Green Funeral Home.
Your story starts at Bevill State Community College. Whether you are just starting out or starting over, Bevill State has an opportunity that is right for you. With 5 locations serving 7 counties, You don't have to go far to start your own success story. Plus, with tuition lower than four-year colleges, you won't need to spend more for a great education. Visit us online at bscc.edu to learn about your options for seamless academic transfer and high-demand career tech and health science offerings. Let us help you tell your story.
Also, let's see, Dora played at home against Holt, 56-24, and that one was really uglier than that. At one point, it was at halftime, it was 49-6.
Biggest improvement from week 1 to week 2 has to go to Dora, wouldn't you agree?
I think so, for sure. You know, they struggled so much. And after seeing Cordova's defense the other night, I really feel like it was more Cordova's defense that caused the problem.
Right, yeah. We learned a lot about both teams in that Cordova-Dora game. It surprised us that Cordova beat Dora coming into the season, but now it's not that much of a shock. But Dora, Jamarcus Goodman, 12 carries, 115 yards and a touchdown. But that's another team, and I talked with Coach Williams Friday night on the scoreboard show, on 101.5 FM, by the way.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. But I talked with Coach Williams after the game. That's another team that's going to have a bye week this week. He likes the bye week right here. I asked him that. He wants to kind of regroup and everything before that region gauntlet moving forward. But a big win for the Bulldogs.
Right, definitely. All right, the next county game we had was Oakman and Curry. Oakman wins 66-18. This is the second week in a row that Curry has given up 66 points.
Well, Curry, they've got problems.
They do.
And it's
but they've had problems for several years now, and I really feel like Coach Emerson is the right guy for the job.
I do too.
A lot like the coach at Meek.
Right,
You know,
I do too.
Hal struggled last year.
Right.
And so now this year it's time for Emerson. He's going to change that culture. He's trying to get them a little better. But Oakman, we felt like they would be rolling in this game after playing Gordo so close the week before.
Yeah, and the problem with Curry, too, Coach Emerson knew exactly what he was getting into, but you know, when you have 25 or 30 players playing in 4A football, it's just hard.
Yeah.
And it's going to take him some time. Curry fans, stay with Coach Emerson, believe in the program. He's going to get things turned around. It's just going to take some time. And for the kids also, keep fighting, because what I heard about that game is, and this was from Coach Hall at Oakman, said he was very proud of those Curry kids for fighting in the fourth quarter, even though it was obvious the writing was on the wall. But how about Bubba Odom? 14 of 16 passing for Oakman, nearly 300 yards and 5 touchdowns. Denzel Chapman, 6 catches, 132 yards and a touchdown. Big night, big night for Oakman.
Oakman's offense they are going to roll no matter who they play. I think it's going to be the Wildcat defense that's going to have to step up in some of these tough region games.
And they've had to open up the season with 3 road games in a row. I told Coach Hall Friday night, I said the Coach Ryan Hall traveling Oakman road show continues as they go to Holly Pond, but before they come back home against, I believe, Winfield.
Right, yeah.
So in a big game. But Holly Pond, first things first for Oakman. But yeah, it looks like Coach Hall and the Wildcats are starting to click before region time.
Well, and Holly Pond picked up a pretty significant win this week over Cold Springs.
Yeah, they did.
But still, Cold Springs isn't Oakman.
No, it's
by
not.
Any stretch.
No, not by any stretch.
All right, how about what I feel like was the best game of the week? Coleman at Jasper, and these two teams never disappoint.
Never disappoint coming into the game. 35-35-2 in the series. When you talk about rivalry games, you can't get any closer than that. Can't get any better than that. Aside from last season, the previous 3 meetings were decided by 6 points or less. No different this time. Could have went either way. Luckily, it went Jasper's way, though. Dramatic fashion, a packed crowd, great atmosphere for high school football. You just loved it. Spencer Rosenfeld, 66 multi-purpose yards, throwing for 103 yards while rushing for 163 yards and a touchdown with 13 carries. But how about Preston Reed, the game-winning touchdown, 6 passes, 107 yards and a score, a big score at that with a halfback pass.
Well, and what a play call that was. And Coach Bailey was saying that he kind of had that in his pocket till the right time.
And he picked the perfect time.
He did.
He picked the perfect
It
time.
was Jaden Caldwell who threw that ball, and I believe that Jaden, back in Toy Bowl days, was a quarterback.
Well, he threw a perfect pass, and it was a perfect catch for Preston.
I was just like, Preston, catch the ball, catch the ball, catch the ball, catch the ball. So when I caught it, I looked down, and I was like, oh, God, I actually have the ball. Then I was like, then it just was straight emotion. And I cried. I did cry. That was my first go-to. But it was fantastic. It was just surreal.
Did you know it was going to you?
The play is designed to go to me, but I didn't know the play was going to be called when it was called.
Oh, wow, here we go, right?
That's right.
What was the mindset when you were down late?
Just keep swinging. I mean, our defense played a fantastic. They just stopped them on fourth down. That's fantastic. That's what set us apart and just let us keep building and building and set up my play, which, I mean, I couldn't have done it without J5. That was a fantastic throw. Could not have been any more on the money. All I had to do was just secure the catch.
Wow. Coleman, senior year, you beat him. How's it feel?
It's awesome. I mean, to walk away, leaving, because the series was tied, and so to go and give us that edge over Coleman is just great.
Also, defensively, I have to give a shout-out to John Luke Walker, 7 tackles in the game. But once again, the Vikings are 2-0. They've beat 2 quality opponents. I think Coach Bailey's doing a great job. But once again, the measuring stick this week, second-ranked Clay Chalkville on the road. We'll see how good that Viking team is. But, you know, Hueytown put up, 40-something points on Clay?
Yeah, Clay definitely has shown that they will give up points, but they can score at will.
Yeah, anywhere on the field. We'll see how Jasper stacks up.
Well, Jasper's defense has really stepped up the first 2 games, and that was what everybody considered to be the weak point.
Right.
And they made a couple of huge plays down the line in the end of the game there against Coleman.
That was the question mark coming into the season, was how was that Viking defense going to do? And we thought that maybe the offense would have to carry most of the season, but or at least the first part of the season. But it didn't work out that way. And the Vikings, like I say, 2 quality wins against the former number 1 team in Class 2A, and then a very good Coleman team. It's always good in a rivalry game. You can't help but be proud that they're 2-0.
That's true. Well, Brett, anything else you want to let us know about this week?
Nope, just we'll see you on the radio Friday night. We'll have Jasper and Clay Chalkville on Oldies 101.5 FM. And, of course, you'll be over on our sister station, Country Legends 88.5 for Addison and Aliceville. And you can join us after the game. We'll talk sports and get all the scores till midnight. So
I'll try to even call in this week.
Please do.
It's a busy night after the game. It is. To write a story and all that kind of stuff.
It's not like you have a paper to put together.
Right, that's right. And I do want people to be sure to pick up the Saturday paper because it is full 360-degree coverage of these games. We have tons of pictures in the paper. We really want to support and show our student athletes and our high schools around the area.
Yeah, I picked up a copy Saturday morning, and great stories, but also great photos. That was a great one of Preston catching the touchdown.
Yeah, Ron Harris got that one right at the exact time, and it was a perfect picture.
He seems to always he has a knack for doing that.
Yeah, he's just standing in the right place at the right time.
Right place, right time.
You know, having some really good camera equipment doesn't hurt either.
No, it doesn't.
He's not shooting with a cell phone.
That's right, exactly. he kind of knows what he's doing. He's been doing it a while.
Well, all right, guys. I got to thank Brett for joining me. I feel like, I've had a couple of guest hosts already in the first 2 weeks, and you definitely beat my son Stone as the better guest host, I think.
Yeah, well, Stone did a good job. I watched him, though.
He did a pretty good job for his first time. Yeah. And I'm excited about doing the radio broadcast. This is the first time I've been able to do play-by-play in about 5 years.
Yeah.
And hopefully I wasn't too rusty, but I think everything went pretty well.
Everything went good. So all of the Daily Mountain Eagle game of the weeks will be on Country Legends 88.5, so you can listen live there. You can stream it live as well on the website. So check out James, and I think you'll have a different.
We're doing a different person at least the first 3 or 4 weeks, and then we'll have people rotate back in.
Yeah,
so,
okay. A lot of fun.
If people will put up with me more than once, I'll have them on more than once, but that may be the issue.
I understand.
Well, guys, definitely tune in to the radio station. You guys always have great previews before the games too. Tune in. to the Eagle. Be sure to watch all of our Prep Zone each week. We'll have Prep Zone Game Time presented by Bevill State Community College. That'll be coming up later this week. We'll actually have that released on Thursday. And for Brett Elmore, I'm James Phillips, and we'll see you next week.